Hi, my name is Mei Han. I'm a musician, band leader, ethnomusicologist, and the director of the Center for Chinese Music and Culture at Middle Tennessee State University in the U.S. And I started learning music in China when I was 11 years old. My parents were very supportive. Part of the reason was that was during the Cultural Revolution, and if I could have some kind of special skill, I could avoid going to countryside to become farmers after the high school. And so we lived quite far from cities. We lived in Lintong, a county close to Xi'an, central China. So I went to the conservatory to take a private lesson with Gao Zheng, who is now considered a legendary Zheng performer in the Chinese music world. Back then, teachers were not allowed to receive any money for giving lessons. So my parents would sometimes ask me to bring a basket of eggs or some cooking oil and some flour to my teacher. At 16, I joined a professional orchestra, and later I moved on to a bigger orchestra in Beijing. So with that orchestra, I toured in many places in China. During that time, performances were mostly for workers and farmers. So sometimes I would play in the big open field in countryside with big speakers and pointing at the audience, somewhat like now I would think like a rock concert setting in the West. But the music we played didn't have much variety, and most of them were political, I'd say politically controlled or driven kind of compositions, praising Mao, praising the Communist Party, praising the working class, because that was the end of the Cultural Revolution. After touring for over a decade, and I realized I was very thin as a performer. That means I knew very little about the music history of the instrument I played, and also in general anything about Chinese music. If you learn to play a musical instrument as an instrumentalist, you learn very little about the history and the theory. For that reason, I eventually left the professional groups and went to a graduate school of the National Arts Academy. And there I received my master's degree. And in 1996, I moved to Vancouver, Canada. I went to UBC to continue to study ethnomusicology. I started to explore music making in the West, as Vancouver is such a vibrant place for world music. A lot of musicians from different cultures, different countries reside in Vancouver. There were a lot of opportunities to make music. Making music in Canada or internationally is very different from making music in China. That was somewhat a difficult transition for me. Not only I had to learn a new language, not just English, but also a language in music and the way of presenting music, and also learn to improvise and to learn other skills. I decided to stay in Canada after I graduated from UBC in 1998. After that, I became a full-time professional musician again, and I traveled around the world playing with different groups, my own group, Red Chamber, and also Mei Han Art Ensemble, which plays free improv and free jazz. And also I play all kinds of music, world music, and even bluegrass, which I actually collaborated with John Reichman and also Abigail Washburn's ensemble Bala Flag. And we played together at the Vancouver International Folk Festival. on the way, I learned so much from just meeting musicians. And each musician at that level could offer something for me to learn from a technical perspective or just the love of music and passion of music. I do have some up and downs throughout the years. Two of my albums were nominated for a Juno, and one was nominated for the best world music by songlines in Europe. And I played in some venues are very prestigious, such as Kennedy Center for Performing Arts and Concertgebouw in Holland, WOMAD in different countries. But also there are downs. For instance, sometimes after a tour or after a big show, you felt you back down to zero because you needed to find a next gig, and everything is up in the air, uncertain. So what do you do at that moment? Just keep going and just trust. Life will lead the way, and if you are prepared, opportunity will present itself to you at some point. And my life experience has been a perfect example. Every turn at my life, there's something open for me. And now I'm in my early 60s, and I finally felt that I'm in a place that I'm comfortable with myself, with the music I make, and the kind of lifestyle I want to have. And thinking back, coming to Canada, making music was very, very different. The audience was different. You have to have a lot of initiative. And nobody will be there saying, oh, I will do this for you, I'll do that for you. You have to do everything yourself. And on the way, people will help you. For instance, from grant perspective, Canada has so many different grants for artists, from federal, provincial, to the municipality levels, especially for young artists. There are so many grants. And I am also very happy to be part of this Emergence BC. And this program is especially created for young artists. If you are upcoming and you want to do something for your life and you love music, love arts, and just keep going, success will come to meet you.